Good morning. Good morning. This is Ray Martinez, Coach Ray with the Brownsville Royal Knights, and this is a wonderful morning. We are live on the YouTube channel of Actitud, Pasión. We're live on my profile page. Let me check. Yes, we are. And here we go. I'm turning that on. And we're live on the Brownsville Royal Knight page. So, guys, hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful morning. Hey, we already got somebody. Clarissa, how's it going? Yes. You are here. Awesome. Hi there. So great. Well, we're going to have a wonderful show, guys. I wanted to go over some Grandmaster moves. You know, I'm really a big fan of the Grandmaster moves. We're also going to do some puzzles on end games. Of course, always end games, always end games. And of course, in between all of those puzzles, we're going to talk about chess theory. Guys, it is time to get ready for the new season that's coming up. School's starting in about 2 weeks. So, August 11th, school starts for Brownsville. Other districts come up. I think there's a district that comes in on the 12th, and then a couple of districts that come in after later on in the month. But in August, school starts, and man, with that starts the season of chess tournaments. And guys, you need to get ready for that. You need to start setting up some goals. It's a new month. Let's start setting up some goals, rating goals. Goals about anything really, but specifically rating goals. What was your rating last year, or what is your rating now, and where do you want your rating to go? Was it 1,000? Do you want to hit 1,200? Was it 1,200? Do you want to hit 1,500? What is your rating goal? As you know, Royal Knights always increase on the rating, because rating goals for a Royal Knight is to hit anywhere between 1,800 to 2,000 by the time you get to high school. That, of course, will add to that the art of thinking, the ability to increase your uh, your knowledge and all that. So when it's time for you guys to take your SATs, man, you're gonna score high, which means scholarships, And so I mean, you get smarter when you play chess. You get smarter. You think outside the box. You use all your critical thinking. You analyze positions. You analyze. You should analyze your tests when you take tests. Analyze it. Look for the best position and definitely take your time and have the best answer. All right. So let me share a puzzle with you here first of all. Yeah, well, let's start with some end game. Let's go here. Let's share a screen and let's go with a puzzle. So here we go. Let me change this to this one here, and we're cool. Oops. What happened here? What happened here? Why is that like that? All right, here we go. That's better, bigger screen. So, guys, what do you think? This is endgame. White to move. How does White win this game, or how does White get an advantage in this position? What do you guys think? Let's see. I'll give you some time to think about it. I know we're live here. Double checking. Yes, we're live. Hey, Roxanne, how's it going? Or rather, that's probably Ryan watching. How's it going, Ryan? Go ahead and answer some questions. Let me see. We're live over here on the, let's see, all right. So there we go. Brownsville Royal Knight page is on. I just put a message on it, so you can click on the link and you can go right to it in case didn't get the link. I'm on the YouTube channel as well. Actitud y Pasión. So guys, let's look at this. Oh, Ryan's already answering. Hey, Ryan was quick. He says rook to G2, and I like that. One of the Grandmaster moves here. Let me put the Grandmaster moves here, and I always talk about this. Is it the top three Grandmaster? I mean, six Grandmaster moves is one of them is a good check. Always look for a good check whenever it's your turn. It has to be a good check. Another one would be attack the queen. Another one would be attack any unprotected piece. You can continue with another power move, which would be create a pin, and of course, this one, we don't think about this one so much, but it's very powerful. Little pawn attacks big piece. Little pawns are very powerful pieces. And of course, the last one is create a pass pawn. If you create a pass pawn, especially in the end game or have it in the middle game, and then towards the end game, the pass pawn is gonna be your queen, man. It's a lady in waiting. So pass pawn is golden, man. It's golden. Does that make sense? So Ryan says rook to g2, and he is right. The queen blocks, and of course, I mean, the rook's not protected, so there's no sense in attacking with a pawn, attacking the pin piece. The whole idea, oops, the whole idea is just to take it right off the bat. And yeah, you solve the puzzle. He captured here, and we're winning already by a piece. And pawns on this side is going to be okay. So we're going to go ahead and win the game there. All right, next puzzle, pure end game. What is the move here? This one's easy. This one's easy. Let me put on my comments. What do you think here? Easy, easy peasy move. What is the move here? Let's see who's up yet. All right. So this is too easy, guys. I'm just gonna answer it for you, and watch me be wrong. But that's the move. The pawn's protecting the rook. The rook over here is protecting the pawn, and so we have a check. A check, man. That was too easy. That was a freebie, man. All right. Let's look at the next one here. All right. So what do we got here? What do we got here? Yeah, Ryan, it comes out. Yeah, that's right, Ryan. All right. So what's the move here? White to move. What is the move here? What do you think here? Again, when you're going to attack the king, look at the squares around the king. So we look at the squares around the king, right, and see what we're conquering, right? So in this, the queen's conquer. Oops, the round arrow. The queen's conquering these two squares. We have the rook conquering all of these squares. We have the little pawn attacking that square. So basically, we just need to look at that square, you know. So from here to here, that's a bishop move, but we don't have a dark squared bishop, and I don't know if the queen can attack on that diagonal. But we have two rooks here. We have two rooks, and so if you study your basic checkmate patterns, you're gonna immediately recognize this pattern. And let's see what you see. What do you guys see here? What do you guys see here? This is actually pretty cool move here. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice to expose the king to a check, or you gotta sacrifice to open up a square that you want to land on, or you want to sacrifice to open up a line that you can travel on, that you can move to and attack on. So sacrifice is key. Sometimes there's long queen move. The queen moves from a long distance. It comes into the area where the king's at, conquering lots of squares. Again, sometimes there's little quiet moves that sneak. There's sneaky moves that moves in there. There's always the mate in one attack. That one sometimes doesn't win, but it's a position where it forces the opponent to make a move because otherwise he'll get in checkmate, and that move that he makes is either a win of temple or whatever. And Ryan says the amazing rook. Ooh, I think you mean rook to g h7. No, and that's the sacrifice. This is correct. This creates opens up this square for the queen to come in. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then of course, yeah, there you go. He's correcting it. And then of course the king moves down. You're controlling all the squares. So when the king can't move, all you need is a check, and the rook drives across the board, and we have a checkmate. This one's worth doing again, guys. You get okay. Hold on. This position happens a lot in chess. Does that make sense? And there's Ryan saying the rook to h1 or h7, right? Uh, but rook to h1 check. That's correct. So again, the sacrifice, right? If you were to move here, then we have checkmate with that. Does that make sense? So that doesn't work for him. So sacrifice. If he captures, the queen comes. Okay, I'm sorry about that. The queen comes in there, and we're controlling all the squares, at least the ones that are important. The king is stuck in this, and the sacrifice created not only an opportunity for the queen to come in closer, but it opened up a file or a line for, okay, wherever he moves. Let's say he moves this way, it opens up a line for a new piece to attack on that line. In this case, opens up a file, and the rook comes on the open 8 file and creates the checkmate. Does that make sense? You got to understand it, guys. You got to understand it. So you understand what you're doing, again, you're going to create these positions in other games that you play. All right. So black to move. What is the move here? What do you think is the move here? This one's actually fairly easy. Well, let's see what you see here. What do you think? Huh? What do you think? Hey, Sam, how's it going? Sam had also answered a move here, which was the rook sacrifice. Very good, Sam. Good. Sam's a really good player, man. Played back in the day. All right, man. So what do you think here? What's the move here? What do you think? What do you think, Ryan? What do you think, Sam? Let's see. Daniel is there. Hey, we got. All right, let's see. I'm giving everybody hearts for their answers. Hey, Connie, ¿qué tal, Connie? ¿Cómo te va? And Miriam, ¿qué tal, Miriam? How's it going? Well, he says the pin, right? I think you're saying the pin. All right. So you're saying the rook to F because you're attacking the pin piece. Well, that's cool. Attack the pin piece, but why not instead, Ryan? I don't know if you missed this, but why not just capture? Right? The pawn is attacking these two squares. So basically from there, all you got is check, or what else can we do here? Is there something else we can do? Yeah, we can go check, right? Yeah. And when you move here, what's the move here? We can go check again, and then we can go capture, right? And of course, he's got to move back here, right? Because if he blocks, then we capture, right? So he's got to move back there, which means we get a rook in there, and it's a check, and he's probably going to move there, and we have a push, right? Or we even have check, trading the queens, and when he goes here, we can maybe go there, right? We can go there, right? Or we can protect from down here, and then this pass pawn's going to become a queen. Both of these pass pawns going to become a queen, and we get that pretty good. Does that make sense, guys? Let's repeat that again. Again, always look for check. So check go. Okay, my mouse is acting kind of okay. Actually, he captures it there. So check. If you were to move here, then we immediately have an immediate checkmate there. So he has to go in this direction. And of course, the check, he moves here. We go check here. He has to move there. And we go check there. If he walks there, then we capture and we win a rook. If he moves away, then we still get the rook. And of course, he moves away. Or maybe he moves here to connect the rooks and the queen. In fact, we probably don't even have to move. We could just move the pawn. We could also just move the pawn. Or what else do we have? Yeah, I think push the pawn is best because he's got to stop there, right? And then of course from here, what can we do here? We could just push the pawn again. We could just push the pawn because he can't really do anything here. Maybe he comes here and we could just put the pawn and take our time. There, the pawn rescuing the pawn, and boom, this game's all over. I mean, there's a lot of ways to win this. Does that make sense, guys? And that's the idea. The thing is to get a winning position. All right, white to move. What is the move here? What do you guys see? What do you guys see in this position? All right. Reroute queen to G1. Let's see. G1 would be right here. I think he's talking about the other puzzle. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I remember that position. So what else in this puzzle now? So here the queen is attacking these squares. So we always want to look at our king, make sure our king is safe, right? So what else can we do here? We have the white pieces. We're after the king, right? Or we can always look at the squares around the king. This pawn's ready to boogie. He's ready to turn into a queen. But we do want to wonder on the queen. Is there a way to exchange queens here? So the idea, yeah, you have the pass pawn, right? Push the pass pawn. However, always look at this. Let me give you this, guys. Let me give you this techniques here. In the end game, all right, here we go. End game skills. Remember the 6 winning ideas, guys. Any end game that you're winning, or any, actually in any end game. One, get rid of your problem. So in this case, who is our problem? The problem is the bishop, and the problem is the queen. Especially the queen's the problem. So if we can get rid of the queen, we get rid of their power. Does that make sense? You also want to attack the weak pawn. You want to attack the weak pawn. Once you create, and then the third one is to create a pass pawn, which we do have. We have a pass pawn that's ready to become a queen. But the problem is there's a black queen that's in our territory that can maybe give us maybe a perpetual check or potential draw. But let's continue with the 6 power moves. I mean the 6 techniques of the endgame. So step number 4 would be to protect the pass pawn. Step number 5 would be to promote the pass pawn. And then, of course, once you promote the pass pawn, then you should get a checkmate between 6 moves, something like that. Does that make sense? So the idea here, also, in the end game, you got to think of the square of the pawn. So this pawn, if we draw a line, a diagonal, and we create a square like this, we ask ourselves, okay, that's the square of the pawn. Is the king inside that square? If the king is not inside that square, the pawn can make it. And the pawn can pretty much go. But we want to deal with these checks. Because we go check, he goes up, he goes up. If he, he goes up, and if he blocks this way, then he's got to draw. Boom, 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 boom. So we got to deal with that. So let's see. So let me go back to the comments here, and let's see. Capture the black pawn. Yes, capture the black pawn is correct. We're avoiding black's perpetual check. Right. Yes, Sam, that is correct. That's what I was saying. Good job, Sam, on that one. Let's see here. Reroute the queen to G1. That was another comment. All right. And of course, he says capture the black pawn. Ryan says, and that is correct. Create a check, because the queen has to capture. Pawn captures, right? Pawn captures also stops the bishop from going there. You keep pushing, and the bishop can go here all day long. It doesn't matter. And of course, you're gonna promote. Does that make sense? Very simple position, actually. But when you don't understand some of these principles, that's when it becomes hard. Let's do it the other way. Had we pushed the pawn, this is what Sam's talking about. Check, boom, and we have check, boom, and then we have check, boom, and he moves, and we got check, boom. So what is that? 3 repetition, draw. All right. Let's take it another way. Check, he moves up, he goes here. Now, pawn blocks. No, pretty cool, right? So check, boom, and we got check, boom, and again we have a draw. We have a draw in this position. So you always have to watch out for the draws. And this is why okay, now, hold on. My mouse is acting up. This is why the best move is create the fork, right? Create the fork, and the queen can block. The queen can block, capture, king closer, and you still go here because the king cannot make it because he was outside of the square. Does that make sense? And that's how you win the position in this case. In fact, here, if you want to, you can even sacrifice the queen, capture the bishop, because the 2 pawns are going to be able to queen, because 2 pawns together, the king can't stop them. Does that make sense? All right. So let's go to the next puzzle here. The rook just moved over. Obviously, the rook wants to come here to trade rooks. Queen can capture with a check, and maybe possible trade the queen here, and he's got a winning position with the pass pawns of this. That's White's idea. However, Black has a way out. What is Black's move here? What can Black do? What can Black do? Yes. Hey, Alex, how's it going? ¿Qué pasó? I think that's Daniel. Daniel says, I see the pin. When you have a pin, The pin piece loses the power to protect, loses the power to capture, loses the power to defend the area. So the rook goes right in because of this pin. King moves over, and what can we do here? Well, we have a check here, right? We can check there, and I think that's the move. Yeah, and he blocks. All right, now this is an interesting position that happens a lot because the thing here, a lot of players here will capture queen or maybe move the queen away, and now in a way, White did a pretty good move because he's blocking the check and attacking the queen, and the pawn's attacking the rook. However, there's a way to capture the queen in this position. There's a way to capture the queen from this position. The king is protecting the queen. We want to capture the queen for free. And so Daniel says, sacrifice the rook. Force the king to move away from the queen. And so Daniel says, check, sacrificing the rook. The king must capture the rook, leaving the queen unprotected, and the queen captures. And this game's over. This guy maybe goes here, no problem. We just attack the pawn, and he's got to protect the pawn, and whatever we want to do here. As a matter of fact, we can eat the rook here in two moves. We can go check. He moves here. Pieces on the same color. We attack on the same color. We find a square, and here's the square where they're that they have in common, and so we simply go here, rook can block the check, and we get the rook for free. Does that make sense? So again, it's all about angles. So I always say this game is about two colors, the dark squares and the light squares. It's about three lines, files, rows that go up and down, ranks, row that go side to side, and diagonals, rows of squares that move on the same color. And about what did I say? Three lines, squares, and two squares. That's what chess is really about. We simply use the pieces to control those squares. That's what it is, basically. That makes sense? All right, let's go to the next puzzle here. Again, we're reviewing some end game here. All right, so the pawn just moved. So should we capture? Should we capture here? And then there's the horses. Yeah, yeah, the horses, the knights. Hey, and Sam's watching us on the Actitud page of, the chess show on the Actitud page. So yeah, there's always the knights, man. There's got to be the Royal Knights. You can't have chess without Royal Knights, right, Sam? So Daniel says capture the little pawn. So G captures. Yeah, I think that's cool. Now, this is a pass pawn. Oh my God, he's going to become a queen. So what do? We chase the pawn, and we're okay. Does that make sense? If this guy comes this way, we can still capture. And if the king wants to go this way, well, we can get closer and, whatever. If the king tries, or no, hold on. Let's see. If the king stops here, well, what do we do here? We're controlling that square, so we can go here. He moves back. What do? We're still controlling that square, so we move closer. If he gives us the opposition, can he draw us? Can he draw us? What do you think? I think we could maybe move down, right? Because he can't move there, and then he moves here, and we got the opposition this way, right? Again, maybe here, can we push the pawn? Let's try pushing the pawn. He goes here, we go there, and we go here. Hey, I know we can't go there. All right. Then he captures, and we go here, and he goes there, and we go here. And again, what is this, drawish or stalemate? Wow. What happened here? What did I do wrong here? All right. So capture, right? And let's say, what's he gonna do? Yeah, he's gonna capture. So we're controlling here. What can we do? If we do the opposition, he's going to move here. Then maybe we can move there, right? But again, maybe push. He goes here. Push. He goes there. And there's the win. All right? Because he goes here, what do? We can capture, right? That would be draws. We go here. He moves here. It's a draw, guys, here because the king's in front, right? So any good player will know that the moment the pawn pushes, this is a draw. That makes sense. And the king's in front, it's a draw position. But the idea was to save, I guess. That makes sense. And this is the way you draw the king and pawn. All right, he goes here, and then obviously that's a draw. But I think, yeah, I think we stopped the king from capturing. Let's see. Let's see. Sam's. Let's see. Sam's got something here. All right. Okay. I keep going there. So we capture here. We capture there. Right. The king has to move here. That's for sure. That's the answer. Right. So if this guy pushes, pushing the king further away. King moves here. If we push, that's the move. Because look, does that make sense? That's the key move. He cannot capture because guy's gone. This guy's gone. And we get a queen. So that was the move here. That makes sense? The move is this. You're controlling these two squares. So now you control. So you're controlling these two. He cannot capture. So basically he has to move back. And of course, that gives you time to move in here, right? If we push the 2 pawns at the beginning. Yeah. Does that make sense, Sam? Does that make sense? All right. And then, of course, whatever, he's going to have to go maybe there, because he moves away. Remember, the square of the pawn. He's got to stay inside the square of the pawn. The moment he moves out, if he moves one, he loses. Does that make sense? So he has to stay inside of the square. And that's the only move. And, of course, we just simply we quietly go after the pawn. And then we go help the pawns. And that's the way we win it here. There you go. And we create the opposition this way. And here we go. And we can move here. Can we move there? What do we do? Now we can move back. The move was, he can go here. He can't go there anymore. He has to go there. And then here's the win. I mean, not there. Here's the win. Okay, he goes there. Here's the win. And the pawn just keeps going. Because he has to go there. We're just going to push. And there it is. That makes sense? Yeah. It's one of those. All right. So you put everything into play. All right. Let's look at this position here. All right. So the pawn's about to queen. There's a rook. There's a technique here where you can queen. And the idea would be rook check, king captures, and pawn promotes. But it is black's turn to move. So I just gave you the answer, right? So what's the move? We can push the 2 pawns at the beginning. All right, that was him again. All right, so what do you think here? What do you guys think here? All right. Let's see. All right, come on, give me the answer here. Remember, we want to promote the pawn. When a piece is in front of the pawn, yes, sacrifice. I just said it. Sacrifice the rook. He moves away, and we capture. He does the same thing. We go here, and of course, he's going to promote, and that's okay. We have 2 pieces, right? Maybe he goes here. I don't know. So we can just move up. No problem, right? He's going to. He doesn't have any check, so he's got to go here, and of course, we could just push pawns, right? And we want to take away all the checks. The moment he's got no checks, then we gain advantage. Does that make sense? So yeah, that is the move. C1 cap, C1 check. I mean queen, right? Does that make sense, guys? Let's look at this one again. All right. So the idea is sacrifice the rook. He captures queen. He moves here. Actually, look, we forgot this move. Because whatever he blocks, we get here. We forgot that move, guys. Then of course here, and we go there. Boom, checkmate. Does that make sense? So total win, total win. All right, guys. Let me go into this. I want to share this with you. Hold on. Where is it? All right. Is it this one? Yes. Here we go. Stop sharing. Hold on. Let me go back here. Share screen and let me share this, guys. All right. So this is a position, guys, and this shows were normally puzzles, but let's talk a little bit about the six power moves. Okay, so this we're gonna get into a lesson here. So you guys gonna get a free lesson here. So remember the six grandmaster power moves. Every time it's your turn, you should think about these. And my students know this, because this is one of the techniques we use. Every time it's our turn, we look for a good check. Has to be a good check. We look to see if we can attack the queen every time it's our turn. We look to see if we can attack any unprotected piece. And of course, we look to see if we can create a good pin. We can create a pin. And of course, we're always looking to see if the pawns can attack big pieces. But good pawn pushes, not just moving pieces carelessly. And of course, we always look to gain an advantage by creating a passed pawn. So those are the six power moves, right? Those are the six power moves. The idea here in this position, this is from a game that Bobby Fischer played. And this is to illustrate that even Bobby Fischer, the great Bobby Fischer, was really into the six Grandmaster Power moves. Now, the book, The Six Grandmaster Power Moves, was written long before, long after Bobby Fischer, well, let me give you the date when this book was written, and the book was okay, where's always there. It's behind the title page all the time. So this is from 2010. It was printed in 2010. Bobby Fischer played his last. Well, he played some matches, but 1992 when he played Spassky for the second time and won. So again, it was the book was written after Fischer had played a lot of his games, but he always followed this theory as well. So the idea here, guys, is always, and we've been talking to them in the chess camp this week. We're talking about moving pieces into powerful squares and moving pieces forwards and just pushing the dynamic of the game forward, and keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. So here, black moves the knight into the middle of the board here. Remember, the knight on the sixth rank controls the rooks. So this is something that you should know about the power of the knights. The knights on the third rank, meaning the third rank from the point of view of the player, right? So, for instance, this is the first rank, second rank, this is the third rank. So the knights on the third rank inside the subcenter, which would be the squares around the center, the squares around the center. The knight on the third rank here is a good move, good opening move, and good move to the knight. The knight on the fourth rank now is as strong as a bishop. I don't know if you guys knew that. The knight on the fifth rank is actually stronger than a bishop. So if you position a knight on the fifth rank, your knight is stronger than a bishop. If you position a knight on the fifth rank, your knight is stronger than a bishop. But when you position a knight on the sixth rank, it actually controls the rooks. It doesn't let the rooks come into their favorite open files, per se. That makes sense? And so this knight here is stopping the rook from going there and going there. So it's a very powerful move. It is backed up by the long-range piece here. And it's going to create some damages because from here, the knight's attacking key squares, that he wants to go to. He's after the king. Remember, you're after the king. You're trying to create checkmate. But you create the checkmate by creating the imbalances. And we've been talking about imbalances in our chess camp where, you attack wherever he's weak, and you make that position. So the queen simply moves away. He moves to C2. And who could tell me or who can guess what the next move would be here? What do you think? Who can tell me what the move here? Especially when there's no pawns to kick the knight. Yes, that is true. Especially kind of like an outpost square time, and that's cool. Especially when the knight and there's no pawns to kick the knight, that knight is super strong. Again, there's no pawns. That's what he's talking about here. And if there's a pawn that's protecting that knight, so much stronger. That's what we call an outpost square. And we'll maybe next week we'll do a lesson on outpost squares. But anyway, so Who can tell me what the next power move is, or what the next move might be here? Sometimes, remember what I've been talking about. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice to gain position or to put pieces to better positions, or to expose the king to more checks. Um, so what do you think here? Hmm? All right. So I'm going to give you the move, guys, because the move here is actually the knight captures here, attacking the rook. But the idea is to create this weak pawn, right in there, right? And of course, to that, the king simply captures, right? So what is the move here? You know what, guys? I forgot to put a knight here. That's why you guys, here, let me do this. Hold on. Let me just do it live here. Hold on. Hold on. Kayla. Oh man, no. Guys, hold on. Never mind. Input, input moves on the keyboard. No. Ah, hold on. Ooh. All right, guys. Never mind. Let me stop sharing here, and let me set it up on the side and then come back to it, because I did I did there was some move. Here we go. Okay, hold on. Let me do this here on this one. Edit board. There you go. And we got a knight that is right here. All right, cool. I forgot to put a knight. All right, so here we go. Analyze. And now we can bring it back in the game. Okay, so here we go. All right, there I fixed the position. I forgot to put a knight on the board where I was doing this. And you were wondering, well, why the sacrifice? Well, the sacrifice was to bring another piece into the attack. Check, and to open it, the dragon bishop to open up this line, creating a pin. So, and we're also attacking this pawn with two pieces. That makes sense. When we open up this, we're attacking this pawn with two pieces. Plus, we're also creating a pin here. The knight being the pin piece. Does that make sense? So we create that. Yeah. What is it? Bobby Fischer left one of his horses in the stables. I love it. I love it. Bobby Fischer left one. Yeah. My bad. Sorry. I like it. I like it, sir. Anyway, so the knight goes to there. The king moves here, because notice the potential royal fork that could happen. Can he move back here? Royal fork. And of course, this pawn's in trouble. So he knows that if he moves to this square, he's going to capture here, and he's going to be attacking the queen. He's going to capture the bishop. So always attack the unprotected pieces. So Fischer's opponent simply moved to g1 to protect the bishop, right? And so the move is, hey, let's go after the pawn. We just sacrificed a piece. Let's get our points back. And again, another fork. He's attacking the rook and the queen, and of course the bishop. But he's really after the queen. He wants to tear apart the diagonal. The queen goes here to d, attacking in this direction, and of course in this direction, and keeping attack in the center, that kind of deal. All right. And so here, look at what he does. He doesn't take the rook. He again takes the bishop. Why? Because he wants to expose the king and put him on a white square. Now look at this. Look at the move. This diagonal is blocked by this pawn, right? And so we have the bishop and we have the queen, right? And so he pushes the pawn. The knight takes, we can capture, or now we can just let it go. Obviously, he captures. Again, the king is now kind of being left unprotected. All the pieces have left the king. Of course, pieces are on this side of the board, right? But let's see what happens. So, what is the first move? So, we opened up the diagonal. Oops, wrong diagonal. We opened up the diagonal. So, who goes into the diagonal? The bishop. And there comes the bishop. Boom. The attack is started. The king goes to f1. What's next? queen to d7. Look at this. With the idea of going here, hunting the king, immediately hunting the king. That makes sense? Queen goes to f2 to try to protect the king. Try to protect the king. So what is the move? A good check, right? So he goes here. Boom, a good check. And the king cannot go here, cannot go there, cannot go here, and he's forced to go there, right? So what is the move now? What do you think is the move here? Look at the board. What is the move? Who can tell me the next move? Look at the board. All right, Ryan and Daniel, what do you guys think? Who can tell me the next move here? Who can tell me the next move? Look at the board. Think about this. Look, we have the bishop and the queen ready for a checkmate. The queen is protecting. So if we want to create the checkmate, we need to send the queen away, right? So what do you think? What can we do here? Daniel says bishop captures there. Daniel says bishop captures because if queen captures, then we have checkmate. Well, the problem with that is that the rook will capture. Does that make sense? The problem with that is that the rook will capture. So, no, that's not the move. But you are in the right idea, Daniel. You're in the right idea. The move here is, hey, what happened here? Oh, the move here is sacrifice the rook. Watch this. Watch this. Sacrifice the rook. Look at the greatness of Bobby Fischer. Because if the king captures, we have, if the queen captures, we have checkmate. So that's not going to happen. So it's a check. The rook must capture. And now comes the powerful bishop captures here, creating a pin. And either we're going to win the queen or he's going to move. If he stays there, yeah, let's say the rook were to move here, then this would be checkmate because the queen is pinned and he can't capture. So obviously that's not going to happen. So in the match, the queen captures the bishop, and of course there's the checkmate. And again, the grandmaster moves came in to the attack. Good check, exposing the king to more checks and the whole bit. And man, it was amazing. It's an amazing game here. Let me go through it again. All right. Let's see if this works here. We're missing the knight. We're missing the knight here. But anyway, so there. Oh no, it worked. It worked. There it is. Does that make sense? So pretty cool game. Little demonstration of the grandmaster moves. Does that make sense, guys? All right. Let's go back and say let's go back to puzzles here. And let's try some more different puzzles. And let's see here. I think last time we were talking about, let's talk about sacrifice. All right. Let's talk about sacrifice. Let me, where is it? I think it's this one. Yes. And let me share again. At there, share screen and puzzle. And let's do some puzzles on sacrifices. All right, here we go, guys. Puzzles on sacrifices. White to move. We can capture the bishop with the queen or with the bishop. What do you think is the move for white here? What do you think? White to move. This is easy puzzle, quite frankly. What do you guys see? So Lisa, hi, how's it going? ¿Qué tal? So what do you guys see here in this puzzle? There's actually a checkmate here. Always look for checkmate. Every time it's your turn, look for checkmate. Cintia, ¿qué tal, Cintia? ¿Cómo te va? Muy buenos proyectos estás haciendo, Cintia. Oh, so what do you think, guys? Just look at me then. What do you guys see here? Checkmate, mate en tres. Checkmate in 3 moves. Yes, the queen to f3. No, the queen to f3 is too slow, Daniel. Too slow. Queen f3, too slow. Come on. You should know this one. You should know this one. Every time it's your turn, guys, look at the pieces. What kind of pieces do we have on the board? Well, we have rooks, we have bishop, we have queen. What kind of pieces are those? Long range pieces. What do long range pieces do? They create pins and they create batteries. Ooh, there's a battery. Where's the battery aiming? Yeah, Daniel finally got it. The move is queen captures the pawn check. Now, is the king trapped? Yes. Where can the king go? Nowhere. So, do we capture the rook for the check? No. So what do? We sacrifice. We sacrifice. Back rank checkmate. We sacrifice, the rook takes, and that rook takes. Does that make sense? Cool and cool. Very cool. Very cool, Sam. And there you go, Daniel. Does that make sense? Again, let me show you the puzzle again. Again, battery. Where's the battery aiming? He's aiming at this diagonal, these two squares. But we go after the pawn. He moves here. Again, we have a battery. The battery is going to that square. So we sacrifice the queen and we get a checkmate. Does that make sense? This is why you got to do puzzles, guys, because you can actually see the pattern happening, and then you learn that. You learn the patterns. When you learn the patterns, you're gonna do them when you're playing chess. All right. Sacrifice. Right. We're looking at sacrifices here. So what's the move here? Again, two pieces in the straight line, you get into the line. Two pieces in the straight line, you get into the line. So sometimes you got to create the line, or you got to create distance between pieces, right? So again, sacrifice comes into play. What is the move here? What do you think is the move here? I'll give you a hint. The king can always move here to protect the queen, or the queen can move closer to protect the king, or the rook can come in between here. We got a lot of moves here that can happen. So what do you think? I mean, even the knight can move here, the knight takes, and maybe the queen comes in and wins this back here, or whatever. But it's white to move. How does white win? Rook captures e-Sam. Sam says sacrifice. Sacrifice the rook. Rook captures, he captures, and the follow-up is two pieces in the straight line. We get into the line, right? Two pieces in the game. And Sam says exactly what he's going to say, pulling the king away from the queen. And the thing is also creating distance between the king and the queen. Does that make sense? Creating distance between the king and the queen, and then you just create a skewer. The king moves away, king moves away, and you capture the queen. Let me show you what could have happened here. Let's say you were to go, well, let's say, no. Let's say the queen would have moved here. Well, it's your turn. Let's say you would have gone here and he goes here. See, you don't get anything. Does that make sense? What else could have happened? Let's say you would have moved this guy here and the queen moves here. Oh, now does it happen? Look at this. It doesn't okay, hold on. It doesn't work anymore. Why? Because the king can move close enough to protect the queen. I forget the rook, but just the idea of the king protecting the queen, right? And so this is why the rook sacrifice works, because it puts two squares between the king and the queen. It distances the king away from the queen, and then my mouse. And then you simply go here, creating the skewer. The king moves wherever he wants to move, and of course you get the free queen. Does that make sense? And Daniel says, yeah. Does that make sense? Cool? All right. So you got to understand why you're doing the sacrifice, right? All right. The knight moved to create a fork. He's attacking both rooks. You have a knight up here. It's protected by the rook. What is the move here? What do you think is the move here? I see checkmate. I see checkmate. Always look for checkmate when you're hunting the king. You look at your king. Is my king safe? Yes, my king is safe. Is a white king? Do we have checkmates? Well, I don't know. Look at the six grandmaster moves. Do we have a check? You know, can we go into a little bit more attack? What do you think? Hey, Cynthia Rodriguez, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo te va? How's it going? All right. So what's the move here? What do you guys see? What do you see? Make some comments, guys, and answer. Answer. What do you think? What do you think, guys? Huh? And guys, thank you for being here. Make some comments, ask some questions, and we'll get you. The night check. Very cool. The night check. That is correct. Sam says the night check, and he's right. The night check, exposing the rook to another, for a capture. Of course, the king's there. So what do we got to do? What did the knight do? He opened up a line. So who can come into the line? And Sam says it opens up the file. That makes sense? So the rook comes into that open file, forcing the king to the edge. And look at this. The rook is now controlling these two squares, and the check comes in for a checkmate. Does that make sense? Let's look at that again. The knight sacrificed. The king cannot move here. He cannot move there. The king can move. If the king moves away, rook captures, rook checkmate. As simple as that. So when the knight sacrifices, pawn captures, it opens up this file, and it's going to force the distance between the king and the rook. So here it is. Nobody can block. King can't go here because of this. The rooks are controlling the G and F files, and of course, when he moves here, boom, we have the checkmate. That makes sense? Very cool, very cool. Good job. All right, here we go. Next sacrifice puzzle. What do we see here? Block to move. The queen just captured here. It's protected. It's protected by the pawn. What can we do? Look at the board. Always look for checkmate. Look for sacrifices. Look to control the squares around the king. You have a queen. Look for a long queen move. What it says, my favorite sacrifice is the queen and knight's mother's mate. Yeah. Hey, Daniel says queen captures the rook. Boom, a diva sack. The knight captures, and of course, the battery. There's that battery again. Look at that. Where's the battery? Right in there for a nice checkmate. Huh? Very cool, right? Here we go. I'll show you again. Daniel says, sacrifice the queen. Diva sack. Right? And it's checkmate. Yeah. This rook's controlling here, and the queen's attacking there. And so it's like basically a checkmate. Right? The queen can block. So the knight has to capture to avoid the checkmate, and the rook comes right in there, and we have the checkmate. Does that make sense? Very good, Daniel. All right, so let's go to this one here. All right, here we go. The queen just moved in. The queen's attacking the rooks, and of course the rook's protected, but the queen wants to come close maybe for a possible checkmate here. I don't know. But what can white do? This is a position that also happens a lot. What do you think? Again, the power of the pin comes into play with this one. The power of the pin. What do you guys see here? And Daniel says queen captures f7. Yeah, you got it. Here it is. King has to capture. And of course, the follow-up is the amazing rook check back here. And we have a pin, and boom, attack the pin piece, and boom, checkmate. Either way, does that make sense? Sacrifice the queen. Why? The king cannot capture because the queen's protected. The rook captures, exposing the file or the rank there, exposing the line. He goes here. The king cannot move anywhere, so the rook must block, and of course, the rook captures the rook, checkmate, protected by the other rook, and pretty cool checkmate, right? All right. Cool, man. Let's do another one here. All right. Black to move. What is the move here? Black to move. And we got a checkmate in 3, I think. What is the move here? What are you guys thinking? Hmm? What do you see? What do you see, Sam? Sam in the key of G. No, I think this one's in the key of E flat. What do you think here? Oops, I gave you the answer. Oh my goodness. No, no. Look at the board. Look at the board. This is a discovery, right? Yeah, a discovery. Daniel says queen to E1. Rook must capture, right? Rook captures rook, and the knight blocks, and we have the checkmate. Hey, Sam had it also. Queen E1, right? Does that make sense? Here, let me go here. This is a discovery, or an X-ray, actually, or a discovery. Well, no, it's an X-ray, right? She's X-raying this square. So we boom, the rook's protecting through the rook. If the knight blocks, we have a simple checkmate as that. So he goes, what's the move there? Rook has to capture, right? And when rook cap, okay, my mouse, I think I gotta put a new battery. This guy goes in there and boom, and we have the checkmate. Does that make sense, guys? So cool, man. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. Let me go here. And guys, super cool. Man, let me share a little bit of what else we doing, guys. This month, as we just finished the chess camps that were going on for June and July, and we're moving into September. Next week is August, or actually August already. Next week, guys, I will start on Tuesday, the Tuesday night class at 6 p.m. at Cascades. Again, we're getting ready for the school year. We want to get everybody back in. Those that that were out for the summer, we want to get them all back, so we can start training for regionals and get ready for nationals and all of that. We're always thinking ahead, guys. The scrimmages are the local tournaments. Those is what they are. They're scrimmages, and yeah, we win trophies, but hey, we're getting ready for regionals. Some of Daniel, as a matter of fact, this year answered. He earned his trip to nationals last year, and so this year he's going to try to earn another trip to nationals. The rest of you Royal Knights, hey, there was quite a few Royal Knights that earned their trips to nationals this year. So great, and so you earn it by doing well in tournaments. And so guys, remember, uh, chess chess makes you smarter. Success is the ultimate goal. That's the way I see chess, guys. Um, I'm here. I'm available for chess lessons. If you join the Royal Knight Success team, you're going to increase your rating. You're going to win more matches. You're going to learn the art of thinking, not only chess, but actually learn the art of thinking. And the ultimate goal, guy, like I said, chess equals success. And of course, you're joining the winning tradition. We're used to winning, guys. That's what we do. We win. Again, with championship chess training, join the winning tradition. Chess lessons is the best way to go. Private chess lessons, but if you want to come to my group lessons, hey, you're gonna learn a lot, guys. Normally on Fridays we have friendly chess matches. Fridays at Sunrise Mall in the food court by the pizza place. But today I won't be able to be there, so Friday friendly matches just at the mall on Friday. Today is canceled, guys. We'll see you there. See you next week, guys. If you want to study with two other buddies, I have the Three Musketeers, and this really happened a couple of years ago, but we're bringing that back. Three close rated buddies can study together, and of course, you get all the benefits of a private lesson, except there's three of you, and the material is going to be covered. And again, those of you that take private lessons know that you also get coached during tournaments, and so that's an extra plus, and that's included in the fee. So that's a cool deal. Here are my rates, guys. If you're interested in face-to-face or online, I was thinking of going increasing, but you know what? I'm going to keep it at the same low price at 40. 60 for two and 75 for three kits all at once. And so, guys, it's a cool deal. Again, this August, the 5th to the 7th, will be the last. Well, it'll be August special summer camp, guys. The cost is going to be $75 for everybody. The chess buffet that happened from June to July is over. So those of you that did the chess buffet saved some money. And so I think I charged like $500 for 8 summer camps. And that's a bargain, guys. And so those of you that took advantage of that know what I'm talking about. This camp is going to be from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's going to be at Cascades from 9 in the morning to 12. And on Friday, I may do something special for you guys if you guys are available next coming Friday. Does that make sense? So, guys, again, I'm always open to help you guys out. I want to make sure you guys get to the next level, rating level, and all of that. And so, guys, have a wonderful day. Again, 30 puzzles per day challenge. If you want to increase it to that, I got a student in California that does 100 puzzles a day. Daniel does, sometimes he gets to that number, sometimes a little bit more. And guys, play on the lead chess team and play each other, play some games against each other, that kind of deal. Work on puzzles, guys. Do a lot of end games. And this coming month, this coming week when we study, we're going to be going over some middle game and strategies. As you know, we've been looking at different openings, or rather, different openings versus your opening to make your opening strong. That makes sense? And so you guys have been doing really, really great. So have an awesome day, guys. Take care. Thank you for joining. And you can see this on the replay either on my page, on the profile page, Ray Martinez, or the Brownsville Royal Knight Facebook page, or Actitud y Pasión YouTube channel. You can see there. And take care. Bye-bye.